Today, we're going to talk about the history of outsourcing in the Philippines. First, let's give you a snapshot of how outsourcing began and evolved throughout the years. Outsourcing began in the Industrial Revolution as a production cost-saving measure. Eventually, it evolved into a strategic business approach in the 1970s, allowing companies to focus on core competencies. Later on, in 1989, it gained recognition as a formal business strategy when Eastman Kodak outsourced its information systems. And today, outsourcing is widely embraced as a means to enhance market share, mitigate risk, and enhance value propositions. With that, let's delve into how the Philippines, the world's outsourcing capital, became the way it is today in the business world. Let's start with the 1990s, the decade where it all began. In 1992, Accenture Global Resource Center was established as the first contact center in the Philippines. Come 1995, where the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA was instituted to support foreign investors in the country. This was followed by the establishment of Sykes Asia as the first multinational BPO company in 1997. In 1999, eTelecare, the country's first call center, was founded by former employees of a multinational management consulting firm. Moving on to the year 2000s, the decade of growth and development. In 2000, the BPO industry in the Philippines contributed 0.075% of the country's GDP. The Contact Center of the Philippines was established in 2001 to promote collaboration within the industry. Convergys Corp opened call centers in the country in 2003 as part of its global expansion plan. By 2005, the Philippine BPO industry captured 3% of the global market and accounted for 2.4% of the country's GDP. Starting in 2006, the industry experienced a rapid annual growth rate of 46%. 2010 entered where the decade of taking the lead started. In 2010, the Philippines became the world's BPO capital with 525,000 employees and $8.9 billion in revenue. By 2011, the industry employed 638,000 Filipinos, contributing 4.9% of the country's GDP and generating $11 billion. In 2012, the industry's revenue accounted for 5.4% of GDP, employing over 700,000 people. And by 2013, revenue reached $15.5 billion, and in 2016, the industry was expected to create 1.3 million jobs. Now that we're familiar with the history, let's talk about the future. What does the future hold for outsourcing in the Philippines? The growth rate slowed in 2017 due to the Battle of Marawi, but recovered in 2018 with 70,000 jobs added and $1 billion in revenue. In 2019, the Philippines improves its ease of doing business ranking, and in 2020, despite the pandemic, the BPO industry saw a 1.4% revenue increase. In 2021, the industry employed 1.3 million people and generated $30 billion in revenue. Despite the pandemic's impact on the economy, the Philippines continues to attract foreign investors with projections suggesting that the country's economy will reach $1 trillion by 2030. This is driven by the growing IT BPO sector and remittances from overseas Filipino workers. As a result, the use of outsourced services, particularly in IT, is expected to increase in the coming years. More services are also expected to increase in demand, such as number 1, design and marketing services, which is expected to grow by more than 20% in the next 5 years. 2, accounting services, which is seen to grow at a rate of 1.3% yearly. And 3, e-commerce and customer support services, which grew rapidly during the pandemic in 2020. The history of Philippine outsourcing is rich, but the future holds even greater promise. Outsource to the Philippines and work with a trusted partner with a long history in outsourcing. Go to kdci.co to learn more.